Open your eyes. The air is freezing, and every breath burns your lungs. You struggle to understand where you are. The ground beneath you feels cold and damp. Endless grass stretches toward every horizon, and nothing looks familiar. Instinctively, you reach into your pocket for your phone, but it isn't there. Your wallet is gone. Your keys have disappeared. Even your backpack has vanished. Confused, you slowly stand and look around. You expect to see roads, buildings, power lines, or hear distant traffic. Instead, you hear only the wind moving through the grass. Unfamiliar birds call somewhere in the distance. Then, the ground begins to shake. Once, twice, a third time. A massive shadow slowly emerges through the morning mist. At first, it's an elephant, but something feels different. As it moves closer, you notice its thick brown fur, enormous curved tusks, and towering body. It's a woolly mammoth, an animal that disappeared from Earth thousands of years ago. Suddenly, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. You are no longer living in the modern world. Somehow, you have awakened 100,000 years in the past. There are no hospitals, no electricity, no supermarkets, no internet, no rescue helicopters. There are no emergency services. From this moment forward, every decision you make will determine whether you survive or disappear forever into prehistory. Forget everything you know about modern life, because none of it exists here. There are no countries, no cities, no written history. London has not been built. New York does not exist. Tokyo is still unimaginable. Human civilization is still tens of thousands of years away. The earth belongs entirely to nature. Endless forests cover the land. Wild rivers flow freely without bridges or dams. Mountains remain untouched, and every cave could become a shelter or a deadly trap. Life follows only one rule. Survive, every meal must be found in the wild. Every drop of water must come directly from nature. Every night brings uncertainty. The earth is passing through one of the Ice Age periods. The climate is colder, harsher, and far less predictable than the world you know today. One single mistake could mean starvation, freezing, or becoming prey. Scientists believe that modern humans, known as Homo sapiens, lived mainly in Africa during this period. Meanwhile, Neanderthals still survived across Europe and parts of Western Asia. Human populations were incredibly small. Most people lived in close family groups, constantly moving in search of food, water, and safety. There were no schools to teach survival, no books to study. Every lesson came through experience, and experience was often paid for with lives. But your biggest enemy isn't what most people imagine. It isn't the mammoth standing in the distance. It isn't the cave lion hiding somewhere in the tall grass. It's hunger. After only a single day without food, your body begins conserving energy. Your thoughts become slower, and every decision becomes much harder to make, in a world where every choice matters. Even a tired mind can become deadly. At first, finding food seems easy. The landscape is filled with berries, roots, mushrooms, and wild plants. Everything appears fresh, natural, and perfectly safe. But appearances can be dangerously misleading. Many berries are poisonous. Some mushrooms can shut down your organs within hours. Countless wild plants can make you violently sick. Unlike the people who belong to this world, you have no idea which foods are safe, and which could kill you. Perhaps hunting sounds like a better option. But reality is nothing like the movies. Hunting is exhausting. You can spend an entire day tracking an animal and still return with nothing. Every failed hunt wastes precious energy. Every wasted calorie brings you one step closer to starvation. Even catching a rabbit would challenge someone with no survival experience. Wild animals know every escape route. They know every hiding place, because this world has always been their home, not yours. Finding water isn't much easier. A clear stream may look perfectly clean, but dangerous microorganisms invisible to the human eye can still make you seriously ill. Choosing the wrong water source could leave you too weak to hunt, travel, or even defend yourself, and no matter how carefully you move, you are never truly alone. Today, humans sit comfortably at the top of Earth's food chain, 100,000 years ago. That wasn't true. Today, humans rule Earth, 100,000 years ago. They didn't. Back then, humans were prey. Cave lions ruled these lands. Wolves hunted in packs. Giant hyenas searched constantly. Every predator knew this world. You didn't. They were stronger than you. They were faster than you. They needed no technology. You did. Then, the sun began to disappear. Darkness arrived quickly. The world changed within minutes. There were no streetlights. No flashlight guided you. No glowing windows waited ahead. Only darkness remained. Every sound became louder. Every shadow felt alive. Something moved nearby, but you couldn't see it. Your eyes slowly adjust, but they reveal very little. The darkness feels endless. Branches crack nearby, the wind whispers softly, grass moves around you. Something else moves too. You stop walking, you listen carefully, everything becomes silent. Then, another branch snaps, your imagination takes over. Every shadow feels dangerous, every sound feels closer. This is why predators hunt. Night gives them advantage, wolves become more active, cave lions leave cover. Hyenas begin searching. They look for weakness, they look for isolation, they look for mistakes. Tonight, you are completely alone. Your body feels exhausted. Every muscle begins aching, every step feels heavier. You desperately need sleep. But sleeping is dangerous. The open ground offers nothing. You need safe shelter. You begin looking around. A fallen tree appears, a rocky overhang looks promising. Then, you notice a cave. It could protect you, or trap you forever. A bear may live inside. Snakes may hide nearby, even thick bushes can hide danger. Every choice matters now. One wrong decision could become your last. Early humans understood this. They never chose blindly. They learned from experience. That knowledge saved lives. The temperature starts falling. The air becomes colder. You feel it immediately. First your hands freeze, then your feet. Soon your whole body shivers. Your muscles become stiff. Every movement slows down. Even thinking feels harder. The cold becomes dangerous. Long before predators arrive, the freezing night could kill you first. Then humanity changed forever. Everything began with fire. One small flame created warmth and light. It frightened many predators. It cooked raw food. It brought families together. It made survival possible. Without fire, humans could never explore the world's harshest places. But today, you have nothing. No fire, no warmth, no protection. Learn quickly, or this night may become your last. If you survive tonight, something surprising awaits you. Humans weren't the strongest. They never were. They weren't the fastest. They weren't the biggest. Compared with predators, our ancestors looked weak. They lacked sharp claws. They lacked powerful jaws. They couldn't outrun wolves. They couldn't defeat cave lions. By every measure, humans should have vanished. But they didn't. They possessed something greater. They could learn. Every mistake became knowledge. Every success became experience. Every lesson was remembered. Every generation learned more. That changed everything. Every mistake had value. Every lesson was shared. Nothing useful was forgotten. Parents taught their children. Elders trained young hunters. Knowledge passed forward. Generation after generation. Nobody started from nothing. Everyone inherited experience. Imagine surviving alone. You need food daily. You need clean water. You need safe shelter. You need constant protection. Every hour becomes difficult. Every task drains energy. Now imagine 20 people working toward one goal. Some gather food, others watch for danger. Experienced hunters lead carefully. Children stay protected. Everyone helps together. Suddenly, survival becomes possible. Scientists studied early humans. One fact became clear. Cooperation changed everything. Nobody survived alone. People survived together. Working together increased hope. Working together reduced danger. Hunters tracked large animals. Others watched for predators. Some collected fresh water. Others gathered wild plants. Elders shared experience. Children learned every day. Each person had purpose. Each person had responsibility. The tribe became stronger, not through power, but through unity. That simple advantage changed human history forever. But cooperation wasn't enough. Humans needed better solutions. Then they created tools. The first tools were simple. Sharp stones cut meat. They scraped animal hides. Heavy rocks broke bones. They reached rich marrow. Wooden spears came next. Some were hardened by fire. They hunted from distance. They stayed much safer. These weren't perfect weapons, but they solved problems. Every better tool mattered. Every small improvement helped. Survival slowly became easier. Humans changed their future, one invention at a time. Humans changed very slowly, not with stronger bodies, but with stronger minds. That changed everything. Intelligence became their advantage. Observation became survival. Memory became survival. Curiosity became survival. Every new discovery mattered. Every better idea spread. Problems became easier. Life slowly improved. Then came another breakthrough, perhaps the greatest one. It wasn't another tool. It was communication. Language changed everything. Knowledge could finally survive. Knowledge could finally spread. Without language, discoveries disappeared. Knowledge died with people. Language changed that forever. One hunter found a trail. The whole tribe benefited. The next generation improved. Then another generation improved. Small changes became powerful. Thousands of years passed. Knowledge kept growing. Humans became stronger. not through muscles, but through shared ideas, not through size, but through learning, not through fear, but through understanding. Even then, one challenge remained. Somewhere beyond the hills, your greatest challenge waited. The hunting party stopped. Nobody spoke a word. Fresh footprints covered the ground. They looked enormous, far bigger than yours. Everyone exchanged silent glances. Experienced hunters understood immediately. They signaled the group. Everyone spread out carefully. Every position was planned. Every movement had purpose. Nobody rushed forward. Nobody made unnecessary noise. The forest became silent. Even the wind faded. Then, something massive moved ahead. Then you finally saw it. A giant shape appeared. Morning mist slowly cleared. A full-grown woolly mammoth walked across the valley. Its thick fur swayed gently. Its massive tusks curved forward. Every step shook the ground. You felt the vibration. Your heart started racing. One person stood no chance. Nobody could stop it alone, but an entire tribe had a chance. This wasn't ordinary hunting. This was survival. Success meant food for many weeks. Failure meant starvation. For everyone waiting, one careless mistake could cost many lives. The signal was finally given. The hunt had begun. Every hunter moved carefully. Everyone trusted the plan. No movement was wasted. No sound was ignored. Then something became clear. You weren't just hunting. You were witnessing history. Moments like these changed humanity forever. Every great civilization started with survival. Every scientific discovery started with curiosity. Every modern city began with small tribes working together, learning together, surviving together. Everything changed here. The strongest humans did not build civilization. The ones who learned changed the world. The ones who adapted shaped our future. Every sunrise brought hope. Every challenge brought wisdom. Every generation grew stronger. One lesson at a time, one discovery at a time, one small improvement changed human history. Think about your life. Everything you use today exists because someone learned, someone discovered, someone shared knowledge. That journey never ended. It continues today. The story of survival became civilization, and civilization built the modern world. It all began with one simple goal: to survive. Now ask yourself, if you woke up 100,000 years ago, would you survive or would history forget you forever? The answer would begin today. If you survive the night, you'll notice something surprising. Humans weren't the strongest. They never were. Compared with predators, they looked physically weak. They couldn't outrun wolves. They couldn't defeat cave lions. They lacked sharp claws. They lacked powerful jaws by every measure. Humans should have vanished long before today, but they survived. They possessed something greater, the ability to learn. That changed everything. Every mistake became knowledge. Every success became experience. Every lesson was remembered. Nothing useful was forgotten. Parents taught children. Elders trained hunters. Knowledge passed forward, generation after generation. Nobody started from nothing. Everyone inherited experience. Human knowledge kept growing across thousands of years. That simple advantage changed human history forever. Imagine surviving alone. You need food daily. You need clean water. You need safe shelter. You need constant protection. Every hour becomes harder. Every task drains energy. Survival feels impossible. Now imagine 20 people working toward one goal. Some gather food, others watch for danger. Children stay protected. Everyone helps together. Suddenly, survival becomes possible. Scientists studied early humans. One fact became clear. Cooperation changed everything. Working together increased survival. People protected each other. They hunted larger animals. They cared for injuries. They survived harsh winters. They solved difficult problems. No single person could do it alone, but teamwork alone still wasn't enough. Humans created tools. The first tools were simple. Sharp stones cut meat. Stone flakes scraped hides. Heavy rocks broke bones. They reached rich marrow. Wooden spears came next. Fire strengthened spear tips. Hunters stayed safer. They hunted more effectively. Every better tool solved another problem. Every small improvement made survival easier. Humans changed very slowly, not with stronger bodies, but with stronger minds. Observation became power. Memory became strength. Curiosity drove progress. Experience shaped survival. Intelligence became humanity's weapon. Not strength, not speed, not size. The mind changed everything. But one invention changed everything forever. It wasn't another tool. It was communication. Language preserved knowledge. Knowledge survived generations. One hunter made discoveries. The entire tribe benefited. Children learned faster. Future generations improved. Knowledge never disappeared. It kept growing. Century after century, year after year, humanity kept advancing. Even intelligence had limits. Some problems remained. One challenge waited ahead, beyond the distant hills. The hunting party stopped. Nobody spoke a word. Fresh footprints covered. The soft ground below, they looked enormous, far bigger than yours. Everyone exchanged glances. Experienced hunters understood something massive was nearby. The leader raised his hand. Everyone spread out quietly. Every position was planned. Every movement had purpose. Nobody rushed forward. Nobody made noise. The forest became silent. Even the wind slowed. Then, you finally saw it. A full-grown mammoth stepped through the mist. It weighed several tons. Its curved tusks looked enormous. Its thick fur moved with the cold wind. Every heavy step shook the ground beneath you. Your heart raced. One person alone could never defeat it, but one united tribe still had hope. This wasn't ordinary hunting. This was survival. Success meant food for many weeks. Failure meant starvation for the entire tribe. One careless movement could ruin everything. One missed spear could cost many lives. You tightened your grip. Everyone waited silently. Then, the signal came. The hunt began. Suddenly you understood. Everything changed here. Cities began here. Science began here. Exploration began here. Civilization began here. Small groups survived. Small groups learned. Small groups improved. The strongest people didn't change history. The smartest learners did. Now ask yourself, could you survive 100,000 years ago? Or would history forget you forever? Your first decision would decide everything.